So, I always talk about the importance of brand building, the importance of being able to establish yourself as a key person of influence and the obvious choice. But to be honest, there's a few things that I haven't particularly mentioned that you need to avoid when it comes down to building a personal brand, a revenue generating personal brand at that. I'll tell you about all the things that you need to do, that you should do, that it will be in your best interest to do. But, you know, I haven't necessarily covered the sort of topics where is something that you should bear in mind or something that you should establish within yourself to ensure that you are able to continue this journey through and through, because the idea of building a brand is a journey. It is a journey, and it is a long journey at that. It can take a lot of time, and it also takes a lot of devotion, a lot of testing, a lot of experimentation in order for you to get to the point where you understand what works from what doesn't work. But then for me, it was in my best interest to do this video to let you know one important thing. And that important thing is, do not be in a position where you develop a brand that makes you feel like a prisoner, right? Do not develop a brand that puts you in a position where you feel like a prisoner. And I suppose in this video, I'm just going to go through the points as to why you shouldn't. And if you are watching this and you're either thinking, who am I? My name is Tariq Peters. I'm a brand authority strategist, and I work with expert led B2B founders and advisors build a level of brand authority. So that's their personal brand multiplied by their business brand multiplied by their campaign brand. When you get all three brands aligned, you get to a level of brand authority, and that allows you to attract your desired target audience that will drive more leads into your business, more clients, and ultimately more revenue into your business, right? So I'm also an accredited PR practitioner, right? And I've been in the PR industry for almost a decade. And with the idea of seeing how much the idea of branding has evolved, right? Branding has taken is a new sort of, it's become a new beast in a sense when it comes down to being able to establish yourself as a key person of influence and the obvious choice, as I mention regularly in my videos. But then when it comes down to developing your brand, you have to consider, why are you doing it? Why are you building a brand? Firstly, are you looking to build a brand on the basis that you want to be more popular? Are you looking to drive more interest into your business? Are you looking to become more of a sort of influential person within your industry? Are you just looking to do it as a self discovery project where you then learn more about yourself? There's so many reasons as to why people build their brands. And I feel that not many people tend to really get into the root cause of the why. A lot of it sort of seems to be quite materialistic in that sense, or very much something that doesn't necessarily cover the deeper layers of the why. It's more so the idea of, I see my competitors doing it, so I feel like I need to do it too. Or I've heard that it guarantees me revenue, so I think it's in my best interest to do it. It's always based on that idea, but never on the deeper layer of the why. And I think when you get to the level of understanding the why, then that allows you to build a brand based on what is authentically you, what is uniquely you, what the thing that ultimately allows you to be the person who is consistent with it, because you are building a brand based on who you are and not based on the results that you want. You understand what I mean? Those are two different things. Yes, building a brand will guarantee you the opportunity to get what you want, but if you do it off the back of you're only doing it because you know that it can lead to those opportunities, rather than doing it to really be immersed in what you have to offer, what you have to share with the world, and what you are able to do in terms of sharing your expertise, to the world as well. Those are the things that are really going to allow you to understand what sort of positioning are you looking to play, what position are you looking to play when it comes down to building your brand. And like I said, when it comes down to being a prisoner, I say that because some people, they develop the brand off the back of what they feel like they want, and they feel like they need to do things in a certain way that will then lead to said opportunity. But the problem with that is that when you do it with the idea of you're only doing it so you can hit this opportunity, that is where the idea of compounding is tested. And compounding is probably the biggest layer when it comes down to brand building, because you have to take the time to build it out to the point where people start to see you more. You're more visible in the right places, whether it comes down to different platforms or whether you're speaking with various different people in your industry, right? Visibility plays a crucial part within that. But then also, you need to bear in mind the fact that you want to be more credible in the process. You want people to advocate for you, to say that you are in fact the person that you say you are, that you are a key person of influence within your industry because you've done various different things. You have those accolades that back you up to showcase who you are, right, as that credible person. But then when it's all said and done and you've gone through the process of building the brand, how far are you willing to go? I've done the video about this before. How far are you willing to go when it comes down to building a level of brand authority? And if you decide that you want to do it, you need to understand the idea of compounding and how long compounding takes. And the funny thing with compounding, you cannot necessarily pinpoint when everything will just explode off the back of everything just connecting at the right time of you doing the same thing that you were doing consistently. And I don't mean the same thing as in you're doing the same thing without getting results. I'm talking about you're doing the same thing and you're improving each time. You're getting 1% better. You're including different ideas to your content. You're producing your content in different ways, slightly, just to kind of gauge who's interested. But either way, you're focusing on that level of consistency. And if you decide that you're going to build a brand and it's a brand that doesn't resonate with you, or something that doesn't align with you, or something you don't particularly enjoy, or something that you don't even feel remotely okay with, like in your heart, in yourself, if you build a brand off the back of that and you build a brand based off of the idea of what you want rather than the idea of who you are, that will set you back. And it will set you back because you just won't have that level of commitment to what you are doing, that level of consistency to what you're doing, right? That drive towards what you are doing. You are not going to be able to get to that next stage within your sort of business or your career or whatever the case may be, because you are thinking far too much about the said result of the building of the personal brand rather than effectively the idea of building a brand being an amplification of you through and through, right? Because that's all it is, really and truly, is amplifying all the things that make you uniquely you to the point where people gravitate towards you, which then leads to said opportunities, right? But then if you do that in the opposite way, everything that you do in the build up to that isn't going to connect the dots because you just haven't built that level of consistency, because you hate what you're doing. Like, you genuinely don't enjoy what you're doing. And if we even line it up to what I'm doing, right? As far as my campaign brand is concerned, right? Because I talk a lot about your personal brand and your business brand and your campaign brand. But for me, this is a campaign. This is a big campaign that I am doing off of the back of the why. And my why as to why I'm recording, right, and uploading one video a day for 1,000 days is very simple. The reason why I do it is because I have been in various positions in my life, right, where video for me was something that felt near impossible for me. right? It was something that I didn't necessarily feel comfortable with. I didn't feel confident in the idea of doing it. But then somewhere deep in my soul, I realized that I need to get over the sort of fear of doing it, because I know that me being able to position myself where I can speak to you is going to be something that will be so beneficial in the long term. And it's something that I have built over the years to get to this point now. However, due to that, I feel that there's been a lot of times where it's like I'm playing catch up effectively, if I'm being honest with you. Now I'm playing catch up in terms of being able to become better on camera, being able to do more better videos, being able to educate you in a way that makes you learn something and how you can incorporate that within your own brand. Those are the things that has shaped me into why I'm doing this content. And also, most importantly, I talk about the personal branding deadline, the 30th of November 2027. We have little to no time to be wasting in terms of building our brands to the point where we can actually thrive off of our brands, right? And to effectively develop a recession proof brand. Because where we are at right now, we have little to no time. We need to really get to building. And that was also a big why for me. And that's the reason why I'm producing so much content, because with the idea that I'm playing catch up and the fact that all this stuff is relatively new to me. So I need to really hone in on my skills and do it as much as possible on a continuous, frequent basis, to the point where I just naturally improve and get better just off of the back of me just doing it regularly. Like, it's the idea of like going to the gym. Like, you can go to the gym hair and hair, but you won't necessarily build that muscle that continues to grow. But then if you're a regular gym goer and you go all the time, right? And then you, for example, just stop for a bit, that muscle memory will always kick in no matter what. So it's in your best interest, especially if you are starting on your branding journey, no matter what industry you're in. If you are starting your branding journey, then you need to really look into the why deep, deeply. You need to look into the why deeply as to the reason why you're even doing it in the first place. Are you doing it to amplify all the things that make you uniquely you to the world first and foremost? Or are you doing it with the idea of the end result? And that is something that you need to bear in mind and consider, because that is the thing that is going to allow you to be consistent on this journey, to be able to do this content, to be able to do all the things that you're able to do to develop that content system that then becomes a organic client acquisition system. It all goes hand in hand. And when you start to see people incorporate their branding to the work that they're doing, it's because you can see they genuinely love what they're doing. They can talk about the stuff that they do every single day. Like, the content that they do isn't any different than what they would actually talk about with a friend or an industry peer or someone on a podcast or whatever the case, or they would happily write about it and share their experiences to the world because they naturally love the idea of what they do. The byproduct of being able to get additional opportunity and additional client opportunities at that, additional press opportunities or publications or podcasts, it comes off the back that people are able to see that level of consistency long enough for you to be considered as a key person of influence and the obvious choice, where they're thinking, okay, you know what? We've seen this person consistently over time. They have to be someone that is passionate about what they're doing. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Do you understand what I mean? And when I talk about me uploading one video a day, every day, it's because I have that passion. I have that passion that is so evident that it's a no-brainer. A lot of people may look at it as something that is a bit extreme or crazy or whatever the case. However, like I said, you need to focus on what that why is. And when you establish that why and you make that why the foundational elements of why you are even doing the thing, and the thing that you always remember that keeps you doing the said thing, that is what will then help you in the idea of building your brand, right? So to end this video, it's more so just to reinforce the importance of your why. Think about why you're doing it. Build your brand on the basis that you want to amplify all the amazing things that make you uniquely you. And everything else that you are looking to achieve off the back of that, you then develop the strategy that then can lead to those outcomes. So that is the thing. You build your brand and then you develop the strategy of how you are able to achieve the outcome. And with the phases brand authority system that I developed, that is literally the whole process of what I've been able to do through my system and how I've been able to do it for myself and also how I do it for my clients, right? Through the 3B authority method, through the phases framework, through the authority flywheel. These three things are the things that really transition to the point where you establish yourself as a key person of influence and the obvious choice through the work that you actually love and the things that you do. And you develop an actual content system in place that is frequent enough for you to really showcase your efforts and showcase who you are to the world, and then be able to incorporate the elements of the marketing and the PR to strategize that approach in a way that you can get to your destination. So if your destination is to increase your pipeline, that's your destination. And then you then develop the strategy that then aligns with the way of you building. But you don't build a brand solely off of the back of you just want to increase your pipeline. Because if that is the only reason as to why you are building a brand, you will not get far. You will not get far because you will ultimately burn out. You will get tired of doing it. You will get sick of doing it. When you don't see the results fast enough, then you're thinking, okay, this isn't working because you haven't gone through the full system and the method of being able to make it connect the dots in the first place. If it's like going from A to Z, you said you're going to build a brand and you posted a bit of content here and there, and then you thought that pipeline will come in, but then you haven't actually adopted it to the full system in a way that can actually connect with your target audience in a way that makes the most sense. So those are the things that you need to consider when it comes down to building a brand. And that's the reason why I am uploading one video a day for 1,000 days, because it's something that is incredibly important and it's something that you can see the passion. Like, this is something that is a privilege and a blessing to be knowing about all the things that I know and being able to teach and to educate you in a way that can get you in a position where you then think about the why as to why you're building a brand and focusing on that before you even get to the strategy of how you get to the end result, right? But that's it for me. I hope this video was useful, and please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out. Look after yourself.